If the members will please take their seats and log into the system. Take your seats and log into the system.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't. Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, we're going to Will the members please take their seats and log into your voting systems? Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, March the 4th, 2026. I hereby call State and Local Government Committee to order. Madam Clerk, will you please open the board for roll call?
Mr. Chair, will you announce that if they don't have a seat, they have to go outside?
Okay.
Thank you.
Has every member logged in? Madam Clerk, you will close the board and announce the roll call.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 members present.
We do have a quorum. Do any of the members have any personal orders or announcements? Representative Dixie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure if he's in here or not because there's a lot of people in here, but I have a young man that was shadowing me today. His name is Sidney Ware Jr. He's a junior at MTSU, a business administration major, and he's also the bosses of one of the greatest fraternities, Mu Zeta chapter and of Omega Psi Phi. So if he was here, I'd like for him to stand up, but I think he may have been ushered outside. But thank you for being here.
Any other announcements or personal orders? Chair will take privilege at this time. Just want to remind everybody, we do expect decorum in this committee room. And so this is your warning. Do not cause us any problems in being able to do our business, or I will have you escorted out. And if we have to clear the room, we will do so. Today, we have 45 items on today's regular calendar, and we have 5 bills on consent calendar. So we'll take up the consent calendar first. I have a proper motion and a second. Try to give everybody just a second to get logged in. And any questions on the consent calendar? Does anybody want to be recognized? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on the consent calendar. Madam Clerk, you will open the board. All those in favor, please vote yes. Those opposed, no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you'll close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 ayes and 0 noes.
Thank you. The consent calendar is passed. We are going to jump around a little bit today. We're going to start with item 15, Representative Todd's bill.
Motion.
Got a proper motion and second. Representative Todd, I do see that we have let me make sure. We do have an amendment. Can you please give us the drafting code you would like to place on there?
Mr. Chairman, the drafting code of the bill I have is 14510.
That is correct. We got a motion on the amendment and a second. Would you like us to place the amendment on the bill for discussion?
Yes, sir.
Without objection, we're voting on Amendment 14510 going on to House Bill 1446. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Bill's now amended. You're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The bill as amended standardizes terminology in Tennessee state government materials by requiring the use of the historical terms Judea and Samaria instead of the political term West Bank. Using the term West Bank in official documents, I think, is the right thing to do. Anytime we use state funds to produce items, they would be covered by this. And it applies to all state agencies, guidance, rules, briefings, press conferences or press releases, documents, and official communications. It aligns terminology by creating a uniform terminology requirement for Tennessee state agencies. And if the term West Bank was not widely used in state material today, the bill will prevent future use of the term in official communications, create standardized naming convention across all state agencies, and aligns agency language with the terminology preferred in this bill.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Any questions for the sponsor? Representative Salinas.
Do we have any people signed up to testify?
We do.
Can I move that we go out of session to hear from the people signed up?
Without objection, we'll go out of session. We have with us today Mr. Bruce Pearl. If you don't mind, come have a seat at the table. Give us your name, and you have 3 minutes for testimony. Out of order.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, thank you for your time and for your service. It was an honor and a privilege to be your men's basketball coach at the University of Tennessee from 2005 to 2011. Being a Tennessee volunteer carries a historical and a symbolic meaning. The willingness to step up, as we did in the War of 1812, and help Tennessee's first basketball team go to the Elite Eight. Loyalty, state pride, toughness, resilience, embracing the Judeo-Christian principles on which this country was founded. As some of you may know, I am no longer coaching basketball at Auburn, and some of you may or may not be glad about that. But I want to tell you what I am doing with my time now. I'm chairman of the board of the United States Israel Education Association. I'm a senior fellow for the America First Policy Institute, and I have been to Judea and Samaria 6 times in the last 7 years. I've met with Israelis and Palestinians and many of the Palestinian leadership. I am here today to ask you and the great people of the state of Tennessee to make another historic, symbolic choice, one that will define you and who you are and what we are. The term West Bank has become an accepted term when describing a particular area of Israel located on the west bank of the River Jordan. For over 3,000 years, this central mountain range in the land of Israel has been called Judea and Samaria. So what happened? The state of Israel was born on May 14th, 1948. The United States recognized Israel 11 minutes after independence was declared. Immediately, 5 Arab states invaded: Egypt, Transjordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq. These countries rejected the UN partition plan and opposed the creation of a Jewish state next to an Arab state. Israel survived, thank God, but lost much of Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria to the Jordan army. Israel lost the holy sites. No more visits to the Western Wall, the Garden of Gethsemane, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the City of David, from 1948 until the conclusion of the Six-Day War in 1967, when Israel regained control. As a way of severing the Jewish people from their connection to this biblical Holy Land, the Jordanians in 1950 renamed it and called it the West Bank. Now, some will say, well, that's just a neutral term. Neutral? During those 19 years, Jews were killed and expelled from the area. Synagogues were destroyed, cemeteries were desecrated, and access to the Holy Land was denied. This history of ethnic cleansing is tied to this label, West Bank. It reframes an ancient Holy Land as a piece of riverbank geography. It's a term that strips away its Judeo-Christian heritage. Just because that term became common in language doesn't make it right.
Mr. Pearl,
It doesn't make it neutral.
your 3 minutes is up, sir.
Sir, I've traveled here from Auburn, Alabama at great expense to myself. And I would ask the chairman if he would just permit me another minute, sir.
Just a second. Representative Martin, for
Pearl,
what purpose?
I want to ask the witness a question.
Okay, go ahead, you're recognized.
Coach Pearl, thank you for being here. Could you expand a little bit on what you were saying about the renaming of that part of the world?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question.
You're recognized, sir.
In 1950, the Jordanians renamed Judea and Samaria and called it the West Bank at that time. I'm asking this group, the committee here, to recognize that the land of Judah is referenced more than 800 times. Samaria is referenced more than 100 times in Scripture. The West Bank, by contrast, is not referenced at all. These are the lands of Abraham and David, of Jesus and the apostles. In Genesis 47, when Jacob is dying, he says to his son Joseph, "Take me back to the land where my father's buried. Take me back to the cave of the patriarchs, to Hebron in Judea." This land is our Holy Land. This is our biblical Holy Land. In John 4:4, John says, now he had to go through Samaria. This is the famous story of the woman at the well. In Gospel of Matthew, Jesus said, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. If it was good enough for Jesus then and John, it should be good enough for us now. What I'm asking you to consider today is a choice between historical frameworks and two worldviews, two different playbooks, and each different playbook has consequences. They shape how we think and how we teach and what the next generation assumes to be true. When students study their Bible or ancient world, the roots of Western civilization, they encounter the names Judea and Samaria. Those names are a part of our civilization vocabulary. If public language replaces them with a political label, that sends a message. It teaches that ancient names connected to the origins of our culture can be set aside. It suggests that even Jerusalem or Bethlehem or Washington, D.C. can one day be treated the same way. This legislature is not being asked to solve the problems of the Middle East. It's being asked to reflect on our own heritage and whether that still means anything. I'd be so proud of the state of Tennessee. I'd be so proud under the leadership of Governor Bill Lee and the leadership of Chairman Todd, if you would recognize the historical names of Judea and Samaria. God bless the state of Tennessee. God bless America. And I'm Yisrael Chai.
We're going to put up with it. You need to keep your voices down so we can do our work. Representative Powers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Coach, for coming here. We followed you for many, many years. I just appreciate everything you do. I have a good friend in Knoxville, a Jewish person. You probably know him as a doctor, and we'll talk about that later. But he also told me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he mentioned about the West Bank. I got to go 5 years ago, got to travel the whole country, loved it. And I think one of the biggest surprises that I had was the fact that Bethlehem was in the West Bank. I mean, it just blew my mind that it was not in the other side of the wall there. But anyway, he mentioned the fact that the whole area of not only the West Bank, but the whole area that's called the Gaza Strip now, all of that was part of Judea and Samaria. And I went back and looked at some maps, you know, how you look at the historical maps and everything, and it looked like all of that area was included in that, or is it just the West Bank only?
What we're referring to now is the West Bank and not Gaza. And so the West Bank would be the West Bank of the River Jordan. And so the reference to that land as Judea and Samaria is what we're asking. That's what this legislation is all about, not Gaza.
Thank you for being here today, and we appreciate everything that you do, and thank you for supporting Israel. We always will here. Thank you.
Representative Mitchell.
Yeah, when we go back in session, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Representative Salinas.
Did anybody else sign up to testify on this? Yes. Why were they not called?
They have not been called yet because we still have one guest that's answering questions.
Okay. Well, I do have a question. I just
Do you
wanted-
have a question for the guest?
I do.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So later this session, we have a proposed bill that says that naturalized citizens can't run for Congress. And the reason that it was because we have a split loyalty, that we wouldn't be seeking out the interest of the American people.
Representative Pearl, you're
And-
recognized.
And, I was setting up my question. We are the Tennessee government. We are not the federal government, and we're letting a foreign country influence. So my question is, do you have split loyalty, or do you care more about Israel versus Americans when our hospitals are closing? We have kids that are, struggling with hunger. Where's your loyalty, and is it split?
Mr. Pearl, you're able to answer that question if you'd like.
Yes, sir. I'd be honored to answer that question. I love this country, ma'am. This country saved my family from certain death. In 1929, my grandfather was 11 years old. He emigrated from Tripoli with his 3 younger siblings, my Auntie Shirley, my Auntie Claire, and my Uncle Harold. My papa was 11 years old, and he made sure that I understood that this country saved our family. And so I will always be grateful. American Jews should be this country's greatest patriots, because it saved us from the Holocaust and gave us the opportunity to live in this incredible country. My love of my ancestral Jewish homeland has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not a great patriot and I don't love this country first and foremost. There are other people of great ethnic heritage and backgrounds that love to claim and celebrate their customs and their traditions. Ma'am, it does not make them any less American or love this country any less.
Representative Bricken.
Thank you.
Well, raise your hand next time so I can see it. Representative Bricken, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Coach, glad you're here. Just a question. The state of Israel, are they officially referred to the West Bank as Judea and Samaria or not? Just for clarification.
Mr. Pearl, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. I don't have the answer to that for sure. I don't. So that's a good question. My experience would be that the state of Israel, its leadership, the people of the state of Israel would refer to it as Judea and Samaria. And Representative Bricken, one of the things I'm very, very proud about is that in the state of Israel, there are 2 million Israeli Arab citizens living their best lives. And in Judea and Samaria, there are about 2 million Arabs living next door to about 1 million Jews. And so the naming of this area as Judea and Samaria, its biblical name, its original name, that was only replaced in 1950 by a conquering army, doesn't displace anybody. Nobody is being asked to not share that land. We're just asking that at the University of Tennessee, when they open up their books and they read about this land, they read about the land the way it's said it 800 times in the Bible, not something that was created to tear away the fact that the Jewish people are connected, sir, to that homeland. Connected also with our Arab neighbors.
Representative Howell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Coach, thank you so much for coming. And I remarked to you before we went into session that I thoroughly enjoyed your keynote at Birmingham during the Southern Legislative Conference. To me, you were the highlight. You inspired me. And everything you said was off the cuff. I was stunned that someone could retain that kind of information that you have in your head. But I wanted to go back and talk about Israel. I've had the distinct pleasure and privilege to visit that beautiful country 3 times. It was their own business 2 times working on documentaries. And I encountered people of both Israeli descent and Arab descent living peacefully side by side. As you mentioned, 2 million Arabs live there. I believe many of them are elected to the Knesset. Is that correct?
Mr. Pearl?
That is correct. And very proudly, over 50% of the healthcare workers in the state of Israel are Arab and not Jewish. It is truly a land of opportunity for all. There are Arabs that serve in the Knesset. There are Arabs that serve on Israel's highest Supreme Court in the land. It is truly a very diverse country and opportunity for all.
Representative Powell, is this for the guest or you want to speak when we go back in session? All right. Any other questions for our guest? Chairman Howell.
Chairman, I just had a follow-up. I also wanted to comment that it is a democracy. That's something we as United States citizens ought to be concerned about. That's one of our greatest allies, and I just appreciate the fact that you are here today in support of this American ally, which is a democracy, as evidenced by the fact that there are people of other races, religions serving in the government in that country. So thank you, and thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Pearl, you're recognized.
Thank you so much. I am here as a coach. I'm here as a teacher. I'm here concerned about what our young people are being taught. And I just would like sometimes, the path of least resistance. I want them to be taught the truth, and I want them to understand both sides of the conflict. And by naming Judea and Samaria, what it's been named for 3,000 years, by renaming it from a conquering army as a way of disconnecting the Jews from that land is not right. And you have the opportunity to fix it.
All right. Thank you for being with us today, Mr. Pearl. We appreciate your testimony. Thank you for taking time to come speak to us today. We're still out of session. At this time, we'll hear from Anwar Arafat and Daniel J. Goldberg. Mr. Sergeant of Arms, will you please remove the person that was clapping? Mr. Arafat, if you'll give us your name and you will have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Anwar Arafat. I'm an imam in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I live, I work, my family's there, they go to school. My kids, I pay taxes in Shelby County. I'm also a Palestinian American, and I'm here because this bill tells me and my family that we do not exist. HB 1446 contains 19 detailed findings about the land where my family comes from. It names ancient kings, it quotes scriptures, it cites references from 1920. And in all of that, in all 19 findings, it does not once acknowledge that Palestinians live on that land, not once. The only time the word Palestinian appears in this bill is next to the word terrorism. 3 million people live in that territory today. They have families, they have farms and olive groves, and all of that is being erased. I was born here in the United States, but I did grow up in Gaza and the West Bank. I didn't just hear stories about that land, I actually lived it. I played on the streets, I ate from my family's tables there. I watched my grandfather tend to olive trees that are older than the state of Tennessee. I remember helping him with those trees as a boy. And now after the genocide that has happened there in Gaza, those trees are no longer there. Neither is my family's home.
Excuse me,
Completely
sir.
destroyed.
Hang on just 1 second, please. Sergeant of Arms, will you take the lady out with the glasses on her head in the black on the second row right there?
I don't need an escort. I appreciate it.
Mr. Arafat, you may continue.
Thank you. I have relatives that have been killed during this genocide. And as we bury our dead, this legislature is being asked to pass a bill that says that they were never there to begin with. And as someone whose professional life is spent studying scripture and history, I would ask the sponsors of this bill to consider even the Bible's own account. That land was called Canaan in the time of Abraham. It was Canaan in the time of Moses. It was Canaan in the time of Joshua. Even at the time of Jacob, who was quoted by the basketball coach, it was still called Canaan. If we want to be biblically accurate, I think that would be a neutral term to use. The bill also says that it stands for Judeo-Christian values, and it pits those values against Islamic values, when this is actually a false statement. This is not, there is no conflict here between Muslims, Christians, or Jews. Islamic values are very much in line with Jewish values and Christian values. In fact, all Muslims have to revere Jewish prophets and Jesus Christ. We believe in him as a prophet. We follow in his footsteps. I've been to Bethlehem personally countless times. I've talked to the Palestinians there. All of them refer to it as the West Bank. These are the Palestinian Christians. The Christians, these are the oldest Christians communities in the world, and they refer to it as the West Bank. I don't think we have business in Tennessee proposing a name change.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Arafat? Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Arafat, I don't necessarily have a question, but I want to make an apology to you. I want to make an apology to my chairman, Chairman Todd. I really do. And I apologize because this legislation seems to be so unnecessary. We are thousands of miles away from the nation of Israel and the West Bank, thousands of miles away. And at this very moment, people are dying. They are dying on both sides. My American soldiers are dying. Palestinians are dying. Israelis are dying. And we sit here at this moment, with this moment, for what? Why? It's really embarrassing. So I apologize to you. I apologize to you, Chairman. This is so unnecessary. We need to stop it as soon as we can. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Any other persons wanting to speak to Mr. Arafat? Seeing none, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you taking your time to come testify. Mr. Goldberg, you will give us your name and you will have 3 minutes, sir.
My name is Daniel Joseph Goldberg. I vote in Tennessee. My name is Daniel Joseph Goldberg. I vote in Tennessee. My family has lived in Nashville since 75. We belong to Nashville Shereth Israel congregation. My parents, Richard and Evelyn Goldberg, are buried in Shereth Israel Cemetery. My sister, Abigail, lives in Efrat in the occupied territories of the West Bank. I am here to testify in the memory of my parents and against adoption of this bill. I'm going to speak in Hebrew briefly because I want to make sure the scripture you hear from me stands in marked contrast to the scripture and biblical references written into this bill and quoted in the February 17th testimony from the president of the National Association of Christian Lawmakers. After the Hebrew, I offer a translation that is faithful to the original Hebrew text, faithful to the Torah and to the New Testament. Al tiftechu lachem b'divrei sheker. Do not trust in lying words. These words come from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 4, the prophet Jeremiah's temple sermon. They do not appear in 1446 enactment and amendments, but many other references to the Bible and the history of Judea and Samaria do. The bill's references appear alongside historical claims about the political state of Israel that are demonstrably false. They are lying words, deliberate misrepresentations of history and scripture, the sort of unholy, idolatrous fabrications the prophet Jeremiah warns about in the temple sermon. The lie at the center of this bill, and I used to live in Israel, is the claim that the term West Bank severs the land it describes from Jewish and biblical roots. In Hebrew, West Bank is Haggadah HaMa'aravit. That is how it is pronounced in Hebrew. The term West Bank achieved common usage in Israel after the Six-Day War in 1967. It was enshrined in the Israeli government's official policy language with the signing of the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt in 1979. For nearly 50 years, West Bank, Haggadah HaMa'aravit, has functioned as a significant term in Israeli lawmakers' discussions about the need to complete a national constitution that includes a Bill of Rights and realizes Israel's aspiration to be a sovereign state that is both Jewish and democratic. That's democratic with a little d. Unlike the United States, in Israel, the term democratic does not refer specifically to a feckless political party. Today, the state of Israel, in spite of its declared intentions and official nation-building Zionist ideology, has failed to draft a national constitution or complete a Bill of Human Rights. Fact. The West Bank population is approximately 3.2 or 3.3 million Palestinians. 700,000 Israeli settlers live there. Fact, since the National Association of Christian Lawmakers adopted the Judea and Samaria Act as a national model in June of 2025, Jewish settler violence against Palestinians in the West Bank has escalated month by month and day by day. These facts lead to important questions. Who paid for drafting this bill and circulating it through 15 states? Who paid for Bruce Pearl? Who paid for the National Association of Christian Lawmakers junkets to Israel and the occupied territories? And finally, what price will we pay if the lies in the Judea and Samaria Act are
Mr.
adopted as
Goldberg,
policy in the state of Tennessee?
You have used your 3
This
minutes.
bill standardizes terminology.
Turn him off. Cut him off.
Market, unholy war machine. Lying words that feed American or head with American money and bottomless corruption of the current Israeli government. Flip the tape. Vote against this. Vote against Jewish.
Does anybody have any questions for our guest?
I'm sorry I ran long.
Representative Powell, you're recognized.
Where are you?
Sir, so I do have a question. Hi. And I'm Representative Jason Powell. I'm happy to represent so many different people from so many different places across this world. And, I'd like your opinion on, it's ironic that we sit here and we're talking about textbook and correcting textbooks and changing the words we use. Yet we sit here on land that was stolen and taken by the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Shawnee, the Choctaw, the Creek, the Yuchi, and the Mississippian. If we want to spend our time appropriately, I think we'd be much better served, and I think you would agree, dealing with those types of things here in our country, not worrying about trying to clarify and fight some war of words, which is now a war, a true word, a war. This has turned into a true war because people in this country's allegiance are not with America, they're with someplace else. And now service members are dying and being put at risk because of that. I can't believe we are listening to a bill like this in this environment. This is why we are at war, because we have people that listen to others, not America first, as it was promised. It's America last, always. Can you speak to that, please?
First of all,
Mr. Goldberg, you're recognized.
thank you. I apologize for the speedy talking. I had a lot to say, but to Representative Powell, I agree entirely. But you have to, I think you have to understand that this bill is actually merchandising and marketing for a forever war that is both unholy and not in the interests of the people of the United States or of the people who are vulnerable across the world to the abuse of Jewish power and United States power outside of our country.
Thank you.
Representative Powell, do you have anything? All right. Next on the list is Representative Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion, we go back in session.
Got a proper motion and second. We have 3 hands objecting, so we will now vote on the objection. All those in favor of objecting and moving on to the call of going back into session, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. The ayes have it. No, it's not a final action. Will you have her escorted out, please? I've been very patient with you guys today, so please be respectful. The next outburst I hear, I will clear the room. Okay. We are now back in session. The first person I have on the list is Representative Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I represent Western Davidson County, West Nashville. I have a kid that goes to school at West End. I care about West Tennessee. I even care about West Knoxville occasionally. I root for a team in Western Alabama that somebody ought to be focusing on a game Saturday more about that than being up here dealing with this. But I'm sitting here looking at a Israeli government webpage, and it's got, you know, it calls it Judea and Samaria and the West Bank. It refers to the area as both. You know, folks, I represent Christians. I represent Jewish people in my district. I represent Palestinians. I represent Muslims. I represent Black, white, Hispanic. I represent all kinds of people in my district. You know what? I represent them all. I'm for all of them. And I'm not going to come up here with legislation to try to divide the people in my community. I want my community to come together. I want my community to be stronger. I want my community to love one another. I want my community to do what's best for each other, no matter if they're a Democrat or a Republican. So when I see legislation like this, it's just hateful. That's the bottom line of it. And, you know, and I'm really shocked. And I am shocked, even though he does, you know, that lesser school in Alabama he coaches. I'm shocked that he's here today for this. Like I said, he's got a big game on Saturday. He better be worried more about that than he does this. So, this I represent West Nashville, and that's what I'm going to worry about. And I think this committee and this legislature ought to worry about people in Tennessee and stay out of silliness and hate like this. Thank you.
Representative Powell.
Thank you. I just want to also say I'm proud to represent people. Once again, I said this, but who literally come here from all over the world. Some of them seeking refuge from places that they are being removed from, where literally genocide is taking place, places where they are repeatedly bombed, and they are just asking for safe refuge. And the greatest thing to me about the United States of America is we've always been a place where people, and we heard this in the testimony, it's always been a place where people can come and feel welcome. But that's changing. And the reason it's changing is because we have hateful legislation like this that divides people. It doesn't bring people together. And it also, this is state and local government committee. Why are we here in the middle of trying to deal with this situation when there are so many different issues at the state and local level that need to be addressed, and we're focused on this? I mean, come on. We have people right now that are fighting to preserve our way of life. And we're spending our time here dealing with this. I mean, this is offensive. And quite frankly, too, let's call this it is. We have people right now serving in the military who clearly are against this legislation. This violates what they care about. And so I think we are focused on the wrong things here. I hope we could spend more time focusing on what's right, not divide people, bring people together. Thank you.
Representative Dixie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to just say a couple of things, and I would hope that my colleagues would listen to what the debate that's going on. And I hear the rumblings about people saying, oh, I'm tired of this, tired of talking about this, tired of this, tired of that. But when the legislation is brought, we're supposed to be here to deliberate about it. I find it a little odd that this legislature is so caught up on what people want to be called. It's like the pronouns. Now it's West Bank. Why are we so caught up on naming other people? I have two questions for you, Chairman Todd. Is how many times does the West Bank appear or is referenced in Tennessee state agency documents? The second question is, how much business does the state of Tennessee do with the West Bank?
Chairman Todd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do not know, and I do not know.
You're recognized.
I would suggest that if you're going to bring something of this magnitude that so many people care about, this would be the minimum that you would know, that you want to rename again. You want to tell somebody else what they should be called. I think that's unacceptable, and it's disingenuous to this people to bring this bill just because you can do it. I would hope that you would think through the process. You don't even know the impact that this may have. And you sitting here and you're going to go to bat for this, and we spent an hour on this, and it does not put any more food on the table for Tennesseans. It does not help anyone go unhoused. And it does help anybody pay any bills, and no one gets health care. And we spend an hour on nonsense, utterly nonsense. And I would hope that we would do better in choosing which bills we choose to spend our time on. This is just shameful, shameful, shameful.
Representative Miller, you're recognized.
Actually, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I pretty much have said my piece, but just one question to the Chairman Todd. Has the legislative body of Israel passed any legislation to rename the West Bank?
Chairman Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not aware of any at this point, but I've not done any research to know that. I just know when I talk to the people in Israel on the ground, as I have done, this is very important to them. They have a government just like we had recently under the previous administration, where the vast majority of the country does not agree with what the government does. And that's what they're experiencing. So that's my answer.
Next on the list is Representative Salinas.
Thank you, Chairman. I think words have profound meaning, and this is something that is so delicate, has been so divisive, and it takes leadership to bring people together. It takes leadership to step in a time of conflict and recognize the humanity of everybody involved. And one of the things that worries me the most about this piece of legislation is I represent a school. That school is a Muslim school. And I know you're aware of that because you had another bill that I brought that school up in. And I've had to go up to the school and meet with the principal because the kids were being targeted, many of which are American kids, because of the things that we bring up at the county commission, up here at the federal level. We are failing American kids by engaging in things like this that sow division, that don't recognize the humanity of other Tennesseans. For what? For the interest of a country that is not in the United States, that's not even a state. So my question again is similar to what I asked him. Where is your loyalty? Where is your loyalty to the people of Tennessee and to the kids that live in my district that are constantly getting attacked?
Chairman Todd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two things. It's interesting to me that the folks that are talking about how much time this is taking are the ones taking all the time. I've been very short, but I will say that the Israeli government has officially used the Judea and Samaria terms since 1967 in their official documents. So to answer a previous question.
Representative Salinas for a follow-up.
I care about the kids in my district. I don't care about what other countries are doing about whatever they are doing. I care about the kids that live in my district, that go to school in my district, and that have to deal with the consequences of these bills. That's what I care about.
Representative Warner, you're next on the list.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move previous question.
Previous question's been called. We're ready to vote on House Bill 1446, moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board. If you're opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you'll close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 14 ayes, 6 noes, and 1 present not voting.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules. We will stand in recess for 2 minutes. Sergeant Arms, will you please clear the room? Everyone, will you please make your way to the doors? We are clearing the courtroom. Yeah. Do what? Press is fine. Hey, and if there's people here to testify, just let them come in.
But hey, for
All right, members, if you'll please take your seats. We will go ahead and continue. All right, we're going to jump back to item number 1, House Bill 2531. We got a proper motion and second. Leader Lambert, you're recognized on House Bill 2531.
Mr. Chairman, I wish I had something terribly controversial and difficult to wade through, but this deals with the volunteer fire departments and the grant program that we do and making sure that money is distributed to them. That it just sets up the process we've been using for several years.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move previous question.
Previous question's been called. We're ready to vote on House Bill 2531, moving on to government operations. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board. Opposed, no. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to government operations.
Before we call up the next one, just about the consent calendar bills.
Okay.
Announce the bill, calendar rules.
The consent calendar that we passed earlier, those bills will be sent to calendar and rules. Without objection, we'll move them to calendar and rules. Okay. Which item are we on?
I don't see Vaughn. I think he's supposed to be carrying number 2.
Okay.
So next would be number 3, 1628.
All right, we're going to skip down to item number 3, House Bill 1628 by Representative Capley. Got a proper motion and second. I do see we have an amendment. Can you please give us your drafting code?
Somewhere. Have the amendment.
Representative Capley, do you need some assistance?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I do, apparently.
Chairman Moon, will you help him find his number?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's 14209.
That is correct. Would you like us to place the amendment on the bill for discussion?
Yes, sir, please.
Without objection, we are voting on the amendment going on to House Bill 1628. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Your bill is now amended. You're recognized on your amended bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. This is an administration bill that makes changes to oversight and funding of the regional tourism promotion, and that's what the bill does.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Representative Dixie, you are recognized.
When it says regional tourism, is it like east, middle, west, or how is this?
Representative Capley.
Would be my understanding, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. All those in favor of House Bill 1628, moving on to Finance, Ways and Means, please vote yes on the board. Opposed? No. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you'll close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 22 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to Finance, Ways and Means. Let's see here. I need to get Zachary. Okay, we're going to jump to item 7. Item 7. This is House Bill 1513 by Speaker Zachary. I've got a proper motion in second. I do see we have an amendment. Please give us your drafting code.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Drafting code 13957.
That is correct. You would like for us to place the amendment on?
Please, this is just a clarifying amendment that Verizon and Comcast asked us to add. Yes, sir. Thank you.
We have a proper motion and second on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment going on to House Bill 1513, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill's now amended. You're recognized on your amended bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Members and Chairman, this has to do with AI political deepfakes. This requires anyone who creates an ad depicting an elected official or a candidate saying something audio or doing something on video that they did not do. They have to put a disclosure at the beginning of the ad and the end of the ad. Be glad to answer any questions.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Representative Warner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, sponsor, for the bill. Because I think this is a great bill with election season coming around the corner, and we're all seeing the negativity stuff to start hitting. How will this be enforced? Will Finance and Registry take care of this, or how will the complaints be made?
Speaker Zachary, you're
Thank you,
recognized.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the question, Representative. If you look in Section 2E, an impersonator depicted candidate has a right of action against anyone who creates a political deepfake without that disclosure.
Representative Warner, you have a follow-up?
Thank you, sir.
Representative Powell.
Question for the sponsor, and I'll get you after this. I'd like to discuss because I've got similar legislation, but I'm supportive of the bill. One question is if someone uses the deep fake and it's patently false or it didn't happen, are we like now permitting that to continue to persist as a campaign ad, or can that be taken down? Do we still have an ability for recourse if, say, they take you or me sitting here in this committee and flip our exact words and it just says, oh, paid for by one of our opponents? We need more than just disclosure. We need to be able to make sure that the real legitimate thing we said is represented. So if you could speak to that, I appreciate it.
Speaker Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative. Yeah, and we talked a little bit about this in subcommittee. Thank you for your support, and I know you've got a bill as well. So it doesn't specifically reference that. It just simply requires that disclosure and then provides a right of action for any of us that may be a victim of that. But unfortunately, no, it does not go beyond what is listed here today.
Representative Powell.
If we could, I know that there's laws on the book so that there are false claims made in a political campaign. There's kind of recourse to that. I know the chairman has worked hard on that as well. I don't know, could we hear from legal? Because I think that already exists. I was trying to clarify under this, even with the disclosure and you create a fake ad that misrepresents something, you can still have a ability to have recourse under current law, if we could.
Without objection, we'll go out of session to hear from legal. Legal, you're recognized.
Thank you, Matt Mundy from Legal. This bill actually does have recourse in addition to damages. It provides for equitable relief. So the court could order an injunction or restraining order against the person that put up the communication. And if they did not comply with that court order, they could be held in contempt. And it's also a misdemeanor under this particular provision.
Representative Powell.
A follow-up. So now, Chairman Zachary, or Speaker Zachary's bill, you've got the actual disclaimer. Is the recourse against the entity that has the disclaimer? Is that how that
legal
person would be liable?
It's in E, an impersonated or depicted candidate for elected office who is the subject of a deepfake communication is entitled to damages and equitable relief as provided in the criminal code 3917-904. That would be against the person who produced the communication.
So if I could.
Representative Powell.
When you say produce the communication, is it the person that produced the communication, or because I might have somebody produce an ad for me, but then I use the ad in a malicious way? Is it against the person that produced the ad? Because I think it's against the actual entity, correct?
Legal?
Yes, I would agree with that. If it's the person who's putting it out there, if that's what you're saying, yes, I would agree with that. Thank you.
Representative Warner, do you have a question for legal?
I do, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, my question would be, explain to me or explain to the committee, please, how the enforcement would take place on this.
Legal?
Thank you, Matt Money, for the record. So if my colleague here, Josh, created and ran an ad against me that was defamatory or depicted something that I did not actually do using artificial intelligence or some other software and published that and it damaged me, then I would have the ability to go to court. And if I could prove a monetary amount of damages based on the ad that he ran, I could recover that. Plus, I could get an injunction or a restraining order to prohibit him by court order from running that ad in the future. And if he continued to do so, I would continue to incur damages and he would also be in violation of the court order.
Thank you, sir.
Chairman Rudd, you're recognized for legal.
Let me clarify something. Let's say, because we live in a world of AI and people are just learning to use it. It could be either as an individual or a consulting company. Let's say that they're working with the candidate or the company that's going to put something out. You make up in a joking way something about a candidate just between you and them, and then the candidate ends up putting it out with that, but the actual company that created it didn't. Who's liable in that case?
Legal, you're recognized.
Just one second, Chairman Rudd, if you don't mind. Okay, could you repeat your scenario one more time? You're working with
Let's say that Representative Miller is my consultant, and we're sitting around talking about Representative Zachary, who he's running against, or I'm running against, and Mr. Mitchell's company makes up like a deep fake just between us two, but I as a candidate, not he as his company, but I as a candidate put it out in the public. Who is liable in that case? Legal?
That's a good question. If I were the subject of the ad, I would probably file suit and name both of you.
Any other questions for legal? Seeing none, we'll go back in session. Representative Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just for the record, I think we do need to clear up that I don't think Josh Houston would ever create a political deep fake against Matt Mundy, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Any other questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 1513. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board. Opposed, no. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 22 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules. We're going to jump now to item number 8, House Bill 0200 by Chairman Hicks. Proper motion and second. I do see we have a drafting code. Can you please give us that number?
Yes, sir, Chairman. I have 013615.
That is correct. Would you like us to place the amendment on the bill for discussion?
Yes, sir.
Without objection, we're voting on Amendment 13615 going on to House Bill 200. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill is now amended. You're recognized on your amended bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill has 2 sections. First section, in short, it lets Tennessee manufacturers sell their own imported tequila brands on site under the same framework as products they produce in Tennessee. That's the first section. And then the second section, this language would allow a distillery to sell alcoholic beverages for on-site consumption, like in a tasting room, as long as drinking occurs outside the bonded production area and is permitted under federal law. The spirits must be made on-site and otherwise lawfully obtained.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move previous question.
We are ready to vote on House Bill 200. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please say aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's put it on the board. All those in favor vote yes on the board. Those opposed, no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board, announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules. We're going to jump back to number 6 for Chairman Pro Tem, Speaker Pro Tem Marsh. This is House Bill 2045. Got a proper motion and second. I do see we have an amendment. Would you please give us the drafting code you want to run?
14200.
Would you like us to place this on the bill for discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
I need a proper motion and second on the, got that? All those in favor of putting amendment 14200 on the House Bill 2045, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill's now amended. You're recognized on your amended bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this bill will allow office holders to use their campaign funds for security reasons. And I'm going to go over that. It says expenditures authorized by the subdivision are limited to home security consultation, home security equipment, home security monitoring services, and the use of security guards at an office holder's personal residence. Expenditures must not exceed $12,000 per year and must be disclosed as residential security. For the purpose of this bill, home security equipment means security software, entryway sensors, motion sensors, base stations, control panels, security cameras, video doorbells, floodlights, key fobs, panic buttons, glass break sensors, smoke and fire detectors, locks, and security doors. The office holder shall maintain all documentation pertaining to resident security expenditures in accordance with the law, and all these records will be held confidentially. With that, I'll answer any questions.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Representative Salinas.
So if someone, let's say, has 2 residencies, it would apply to both of them, or is it just where they're like registered, or is there, how does your bill address
Speaker
that?
Pro Tem Marsh, you're recognized.
The way thank you, Mr. Chairman. The way I understand the bill, it's either or, your residence. If you live, like me, I have a condo up here, and I could use it if I feel threatened up here in my condo, or I could use it at my home. Limited to $12,000 per year.
Okay, Representative Powell.
Thank you, and I totally support the bill, and we've talked about this before. And I think it's good to get this, we want to pass this bill because nothing's more important than your own personal safety and security, and making sure when we've had incidents where public officials, sadly have been attacked and killed, which is always wrong, and we should do everything we can to protect ourselves. I will say that also when it comes to security, one thing that now people are doing is going after us for, information that exists and our data, because if they can obtain that information, then they can also pose a great security risk. And, people, everything we have that is at our house, the hackers could get into it and do a lot of great harm. So anyhow, I'll just say that to say that hopefully we get this bill passed, but in the future, I think it'd be good to kind of consider that, because we also want to make sure that we're protecting our digital security as well. So thank you.
Chairman Rudd.
I was just over here in discussion when this went through committee. I wasn't really thinking, subcommittee, I wasn't really thinking about it, and this could be something, if it's not in the bill, that may be addressed in the future, because whenever we create something, there's somebody that's looking for a way and an angle to get around or to cheat on it. What would be to present like a son or a cousin or something from founding a security company, and then we paying them? That's not what it's meant for. It's meant for real, genuine security. Of course, you could have a relative that actually owns the security company. Is there anything about that that's addressed, or you think could be a problem in the future?
Speaker Pro Tem Marsh.
I don't see that as being a problem. And if there is, like you said, I think we'll need to come back several times a year in the future to address more about this bill. But we left it open last week, and I think you asked if you could bring a Doberman Pinscher, and somebody else asked if you could buy a gun. And so it would be 12 guns a year. So we tightened it up, and we probably need to go back maybe later next year and tighten it up some more, or open it up. And the Senate has Speaker Pro Tem Farrell Hale's got it in the Senate, and they're interested in taking the $12,000 off and raising that. So it's not done yet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And yeah, you just answered one of my questions. So I was going to ask you about the $12,000 limit, how they came up with that. Does this also pay, because I've had some threats before too, and I'm sure we all have, but does it also pay like if you went to an event, you went into another area to take a temporary security guard with you, like to cover you, just during that period of time, like to pay someone?
I don't think we have in the listed as, do we have security guards in here? Let me see. Security doors. I don't see security guards. That's not it, guarded. I don't believe that's in there now.
Okay.
All right. Representative Powers.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to know, because I didn't know that's where we seem to be most vulnerable a lot of times when we go out to an event and people know that you're going to be coming there. But I carry a security guard with me, but I would like to, it would be nice to have one, a
live one.
Yes, a live one. Thank you.
Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move previous question.
Previous question's been called. We're ready to vote on House Bill 2045. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, vote yes on the board. Opposed, no. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board, announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 23 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules. All right. At this time, I'm going to get Chairman Moon, then Chairman Sapicki, and Chairman Hill. So Chairman Moon, you are recognized.
And
Okay.
item 29.
Got a proper motion and second. Chairman Moon, you are recognized on House Joint Resolution 0727.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, September the 4th, 1804, 13 United States sailors were killed when the USS Tripoli exploded. Their bodies washed ashore in Tripoli. Today, those American heroes lie buried in a hostile land, and their tombs are being desecrated and vandalized almost daily. This resolution urges the United States Congress to enact legislation and policies to bring home those sailors.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions? Vice Chairman Wright. Previous question's been called. We're ready to vote on House Joint Resolution 0727. Moving on to calendar and rules. Madam Clerk, you'll open board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board, announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 23 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules. Okay, House Bill 015 by Chairman Sapicki. It's item number 16. 0519. Chairman Sapicki, you are recognized. I do see we have an amendment. Can you please give us your drafting code?
009744, Mr. Chairman.
That is correct. Would you like us to place the amendment on the bill for discussion?
Please, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Without objection, we're voting on Amendment 9744 going on to House Bill 519. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill, your amendment is now on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, the James K. Polk Presidential Home resides in my county, in Murray County. There's been an agreement between the State Historical Preservation Commission and the James K. Polk Memorial Association in Murray County to transfer ownership to the state. Both have agreed to do this, and that's all the bill does, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Representative Mitchell, you're recognized.
Question on the bill.
Question has been called on the bill. We are ready to vote on House Bill 0519, moving on to Finance, Ways and Means. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board. Opposed, no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 ayes and 1 present not voting.
Bill moves on to Finance, Ways and Means. Representative Hill, House Bill 2536. It does not have any amendments. You're recognized on your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is
Item
an
number
administration
5.
bill that seeks to eliminate conflict of interest by removing special interest appointing authority from the state insurance plan, the local education plan, and the local insurance plan. And pending any questions, I seek passage.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 2536. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board. Opposed, no. Madam Clerk, has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you will close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 ayes, 4 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee.
Item number 2. House Bill 2546. We got a proper motion and second. I do see an amendment. Will you please give us your drafting code?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, 011265.
That is not the code I have. The amendment code I have, sir, is 13138.
That is correct, sir. That's in another
That's what I
another
thought.
section of my,
Do I have a proper motion and second? You'd like us to place the amendment on the bill for discussion?
yes, sir, I would. Thank you,
All
sir.
those in favor of amendment 13138 going on to House Bill 2546, please say aye. Opposed, no. Your bill's now amended, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, sir. This bill brings the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame Act updated to way the museum operates today. It updates the structure of the executive committee to reflect the current board operations while maintaining representation from each grand division, resulting in a clearer leadership framework and more efficient decision-making.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none. Representative McCalman?
Question on the bill.
Question has been called. We're ready to vote on House Bill 2546. Moving on to government operation. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board. Opposed, no. Madam Clerk, you will open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you'll close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 22 ayes, 1 present not voting.
Bill moves on to government operations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee.
Johnny Shaw. This is item number 17. Got a proper motion and a second. This is House Bill 1537. I do see we have an amendment. Can you please give us your drafting code?
Mr. Chairman, give me a second. I didn't think I needed one for what I'm doing, but give me a second.
Representative Shaw, what are you doing?
I'm not doing anything, Mr. Chairman. I'm just sitting here waiting on you. It's not 13790.
Would you like us to place the amendment on the bill?
Yeah, I would,
Got a
sir.
proper
That's
motion
request.
and second. All those in favor of amendment 13790 going on to House Bill 1537, please say aye. Opposed, no. Your bill's now amended. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is such a bad bill. I'd like to ask you and this committee to send it to TASA study.
Hang on just a second, everybody. Okay, we have just been informed your amendment sends it to Tasser. So all those in favor of House Bill 1537 as amended, please vote yes on the board or opposed no. Madam Clerk, you'll open the board. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board, announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 23 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to government operations.
Government operations, I
Yeah.
thought we can't go to TASA from here.
No.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Number 19. Representative Love. Item number 19 on today's calendar.
18.
We got a proper motion and second. Give me 1 second here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Item number 19, House Bill 0427. We got a proper motion and second. I see we have several amendments. Which one would you like to place, or would you like to place all?
Only want to attach 006197.
You've heard, all right, all those in favor of 6197 going on to House Bill 427, please say aye. Opposed, no. Your bill is now amended. You're recognized on your amended bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this is designed to increase the opportunities for persons to be living organ donors. We know that many times when persons are able to be living organ donors, it gives persons receiving those organs a better chance to live, but it also encourages persons to be organ donors so they're not giving their organs at time of death. And that's all this does, Mr. Chairman.
Nation of the sponsor, are there any questions? Representative Powell.
Thank you. Sorry, can you explain that one more time again? I'm sorry.
Okay. So the piece of legislation is designed to encourage persons to be living organ donors.
Right.
Oftentimes, persons, when they transition, there'll be requests for persons to donate organs. And we found that many times if persons can be encouraged to donate organs while they're living, there's a higher chance for persons who need them to live. And this is designed to specifically talk about state employees and give them more leave time.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate you running this bill.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we got to back up and punt here. Representative Love, that was the wrong amendment. Let's see. The amendment number is 12136. Would you like for us to place that amendment on your bill?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about
Okay,
that.
all those in favor of 12136 going on to House Bill 427, please say aye. Opposed, no. Your bill's now amended. You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 427. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board. Those opposed, no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board, announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 ayes and 1 no.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules. Everybody, we are at a hard stop, so we'll not be able to take any more bills today. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Chairman Moon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of cities and counties sub, we will go into session at 3:15 sharp.
All
Thank you,
right.
Mr. Chairman.
All the bills that we have remaining on today's calendar will be rolled to the next available calendar. Without objection, we are adjourned.
So it's heavy.